Right. 8 August 2020, and I'm joined by Vimbai Chiwuswa, the Director of Policy at the Zimbabwe People's Party. How are you?
I'm fine, pardon. How are you?
Fantastic. So I want us to go straight into the topic we have today.
Yeah.
You saw that recently Mnangagwa signed a land compensation agreement worth $3.5 billion with the commercial farmers or the former commercial farmers in Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
What is your opinion on this payment of $3.5 billion?
A waste of money. No, I think that is a really wrong move because it has not been done properly. Yes, we understand that there are so many forces from out there that would want this land paid back and trying to squeeze the Zimbabwean government to allowing such crazy move, I would say, and undoing of what the Zimbabwe liberation was there for, or why people died, or not just people, but why Zimbabwean people died for this land. That's the first one. And some of them are still alive. To see this thing being undone like this is horrendous for me as a Zimbabwean woman, and especially that I live in diaspora and I know what land means, and I've got to experience what's going on here. So I find it like really, really a no-no. Okay, coming back to us as a political party, we find this was a really wrong move because we said, like, as Zimbabwe People's Party, we look at how did this thing start? How did this land acquisition of Zimbabwe that we're talking about? Who are these people who are getting this land? Who are these people who are claiming that the land is theirs and they need compensation for it? Let's just rewind a little bit. If we rewind a little bit, we go back to 1890, when the white people came to Zimbabwe as settlers, as there has been a gold rush there. There are minerals in the country and we could get something for ourselves. Yes, they came to farm, and they came to do the mining. And it turns out that the mines they had about, the gold they had about, the reserves then weren't as big as the deposits in the South Africa where they all started. Okay, rewind again. Who are these people? These people are white people who moved to Zimbabwe, right? They came by the name Cici John Road. They came by whatever British colony they came about. They were a company, right? So we have a handful of people coming into a nation and colonizing the people, taking over the land. It's not like it was all done. You know what, this is your piece, take it nicely, we are buying from you. They took land by force. They displaced people. They killed people. They murdered people. They raped people. They took people, like they took land, not only land, they took the land and the property that was there. You took what you could and you moved off. And you know what, if we're looking at this, the first time where the official land acquisition, hold on, I give you the date for that. It's called the Land Appropriation Act 1930. You know, this is coming with the Mofati, the first prime minister of the so-called Southern Rhodesia, right? They forced the people to, they forced the black people to move away from the land so that they can own the land, because they had found out that the gold, like I mentioned at the beginning, that the gold rush turned out that there wasn't so much gold in Zimbabwe. The minerals they were rushing to, there weren't so many as they had hoped for when they left South Africa. So now they discover, oh, Zimbabwe's got good lands that they can, like, you know, start farming, and this government that they now have live from the economy, boost up the economy of the country. And how do they do that? They need land. And where do they get the land? Chase away the local people. Chase away the local people. Oh, by the way, we need slaves to come and work on this land. So who do they need? Who is working for them? The same people they've taken away the land from, they have to come back and work for them. And what are they paying these people who are working for them? Nothing. So why are we compensating the whites today and not those who lost the land at the beginning? So before we start talking of who is getting compensated here, we have to start and readdress, where did these people get the land from? And you know what? Let me show you something. Is it, I said, the 1930 land acquisition, that's where they start to say the white people own the land, that they've taken away from the black people, the black Zimbabwe, the indigenous. They say, stay, go on your horse, walk that way and walk that way, that way, that way. Now the land is yours. Everything inside is yours, except the people get out. They have to go to these reserved places. Remember, these reserved places were places where the land was not, like where you could not really do the proper farming. And it was reserved because they wanted to use it for whatever. It meant if these white farmers, these white settlers decided they needed that land, those people in those areas, those people are the black people, remember, the black Zimbabweans, they have to move away again. So that means until then, they had nothing that was now theirs. Their heritage has now become a heritage of British settlers and other nationalities that have joined them. Okay, listen to this. If we are looking at, already with the 1930, the referendum, this Land Appropriation Act, it became illegal for Zimbabweans, the black Zimbabweans, to own land. If they happened by any chance to get land, like through the third party, it was so expensive for them to buy, exorbitant prices. Let's look at this. And then in 1951, there is a new act that was put in place. It was called the Native Land Husbandry Act of 1951. It established guiding lines, strict guidelines to grazing land allocation of ownership rights within the reserves, hoping to increase agricultural production. This meant the continued limitation of land ownership to Africans and increased hostility between the African people, the Zimbabweans, and the white government. So that's already, like we're talking, the land is supposed to be the African people's land, the Zimbabwean people's land. It has been taken from them. Now, for them to be able to do the little bit that has been left where they can graze their animals or the reserve, it's also limited to what they can do about it. Okay, it's just one of those acts. There's another one. We look at 1969. It says, the white settlers attempted to create a white minority country, adding property rights like the Residential Protection Act, which gave rights to remove the individuals of non-race or a race that is different from theirs, from the surrounding areas of the majority. So in this case, we are talking black people have managed to buy land. Some of them were big, they had money. They have now managed to buy land, right? Through the missionaries, through them white people they become friends with. But now there is this act that has come into place. It's giving the majority, let's say a black person has managed to buy land where the white people are. So the white people would be allowed to go and tell this person, the black person, to remove themselves from this place, like this area, because the law is giving them the right. Who are we taking away the land from? It's still the black Zimbabwean. And who is being compensated today for the land they stole? I was saying, what? All these laws that we are seeing, they are now, the white farmers, they have taken the land that is not theirs, right? They've taken our heritage. And now, I'll give you an example. If I come and steal your car, and I say this car is mine and I register it, does it become my car because I've registered it?
No.
It's still your car that I've stolen, right? So if I come and now say, what, pardon, you want your car, so you have to buy it from me, or am I doing you justice?
No, of course not.
So there is no way why this government of ours is accepted to go and pay this. And if we look at the Lancaster Conference Agreement, what is it doing? It's still continuing with the same things that they started 1980 when they came from the company that now owns the company of roads that owns now the country Zimbabwe, Southern Rhodesia then. And then this Southern Rhodesia company that owns the country sells it to these white people who have become a government of themselves. And you're a company from British people is selling a land, a country to their other people, like their people they actually brought into the country, say, you know what, now this land is yours. And now these people, the local people, are now your slaves. Do what you want with them. And then today, how many years later, we are all sitting here discussing that these people who stole from us are the ones who are supposed to be, they are the ones who are supposed to be compensated. How does that work? And a whole government sit down and sign that. And my question on MDC as the first opposition party, where were they when this discussion was made? Where were they when this agreement was done? I asked Themba Mliswa as well to say, where were they when this was done? Why didn't they say it? If they did say it and we missed it, they should show us again that, yes, here we are, we said this, we discussed this with the people of Zimbabwe, to say, you know what, the Americans are pushing down on us. The UK government is pushing down on us. The European government is pushing down on us. The United Nations, whoever pushed them, can they show us to say, you know what, okay, Zimbabweans, you were sleeping while this is going on. It has happened, now we have signed, there we are. We would like to see that, because that becomes the transparent, that becomes the accountability of our government explaining to us. I say our government knowingly, because they are the government in position until their period expires. So we still need answers from them to say, why did they sign this document? Yes, I'll get back to that. Like I said, for Zimbabwe People's Party, that is a no-no. That deal, it has to be undone again, because there is no way we can accept to this, you know, like you cannot support thieves from becoming owners of something that is not theirs. So it doesn't happen. Okay, so that's one. And then what I was going to say again, in connection of this land issue and the compensation, you know, according to the Herald of the 29th, I think it was, the agreement, let me call it up, I had it open, let me see if I still have it open. The agreement, interesting, at the moment, the children of Zimbabwe, the black people of Zimbabwe, they have no food, right? We can't say, we can't feed our children, we can't feed our nation. We've got no electricity in the country, right? We don't have like sewages, pipes are bursting everywhere, right? We have got no medication for the people of Zimbabwe. And here we are, the government of Zimbabwe, agreeing to pay a $3.2 billion for compensation to white farmers. Which government does such a crazy thing? Listen to this. I was going to show you. Let me see. Just a second. Give me a second. I have it here to say, according to the Herald, this payment is supposed to be, it's a joint approach where the farmers are going to help get the money needed to pay for the land. What are we talking about here? If they know where the money is, why don't they just go get the money and then the thing is settled? If they are going to ask Britain to give them the money to give Zimbabwe, they are the children of the Zimbabwe, of the British, they are the great children of the British. They might as well go and settle it among themselves. Then they don't need the Zimbabwean government for that. So why are they bringing the Zimbabwe government into it if they know where to get the money? Yes, there is this thing that the monetary, the World Bank is going to get involved in this. The children of Zimbabwe at the moment are suffering. There is no food in the country. Mismanagement is another issue we can talk about on another day. So if they have so much money to just give Zimbabwe, like, you know what, we are giving you this. Why don't they give us that kind of money so we can buy medication for our hospitals? What are we talking about? If they are so lenient to just give Zimbabwe $3.5 billion, just like, bam, there is the money. Why don't they give us that money so that we can renew our dams, build new dams if need be, expand the dams that we have, then we can have electricity. Why are they not giving us, if they are so generous? Not that I want money from the monetary fund, I just know that it's more credit on our necks. Not that we want their money, but I'm saying if they are so generous and they are touched by the plight of the white farmers in Zimbabwe, why don't they give us that money that we can use to rebuild our nation and create a better life for our people? Okay. That's one point.
Right. Yeah. So I get your point.
Last one on that one. Last one. You know what? There is this thing here that the payment. Just a second, let me show you. Where they were talking about how this money should be done, should be paid back. Listen to this. According to the agreement, this I'm quoting the Herald here. According to the agreement, the money will be paid in installments with the half payable in 12 months after the signature of the signature of the agreement. 12 months after the signature of the agreement, right? So we are talking end of July 2019. So within the first 12 months, they are supposed to start the payment. The other half will be paid 4 annual installments, each of 1/8 of the amount, but the whole lot can be paid within 12 months if the money is mobilized by then. What are we talking about here? It's just $3.2 billion. Where are they getting the money from? Over to you, Say.
Okay, so this is very interesting, and I think you have properly articulated this issue. Mm-hmm. So I want us to keep this very, very short for our WhatsApp audience.
Yeah, thank you.
And I think you've covered it all. Can you kindly wrap it up for me and say what you think should be done in 1 minute?
In 1 minute. What I think should be done is that the government of Zimbabwe should make sure that our people have food. They have already confiscated those farms, the ones that they already have. Those farms, and they didn't just take anything that was useless. Those farms are already there. They have to produce food from those farms. Those commercial farms they already have. They have to start using those farms to, to start producing food for the people. If they don't know what to do with those lands, the government of Zimbabwe doesn't know what to do with those lands. They should give the land to the people of Zimbabwe who knows how to farm and get them to farm for the nation.
Right. Should the agreement be cancelled?
Yes.
How?
Yes. That agreement should be cancelled.
This agreement. Yes.
That agreement should be cancelled because it's not fair. Why? Like I said, you cannot pay a thief to say the thief is now the owner of something. They took something that is not theirs. That is our heritage as people of Zimbabwe. And if there is somebody who's going to be compensated, okay, let's say they really want to pay the white farmers for the how do they call them? For the labor and for the
improvements
on the farms, right? First, before they start with these ones, they have to go and pay the black farmers first, the black owners of the land first. They have to pay those ones first for the land they took away from them, because this section, the section that talks on the land acquisition, that the sections 218, I think it was, and 16. The first part of it says the indigenous people have to be paid the land, and if the land has been taken away, then it has to be paid the land and the compensation, right? And we are saying before they can pay the white farmers, they have to pay the black farmers first because they lost the land first. You don't pay the second one before you deal with the first one. So we deal with the first one first. And for that, we would need the British to get involved because they are their people. They come back in this whole thing. We pay the first black people, and then we can start talking about the second group, because you don't deal with the second one before you do the first one.
Okay, but then I've heard that there is a constitutional amendment that happened, which required compensation to be paid.
Yes, like I said, if you remember, I read you the constitutions that were there before this one, right?
Yes.
Before this 2013 one, there were other ones that were done before there. So constitutions are made by people and they can be undone by people. So they made this one now, right? The way they put it, they can as well undo it because it wasn't there the way it is today. When the land was taken away 2000, the deal was that UK had backed out of their own deal of paying the compensation. So there is a lot going on there. Before we can talk of these white people, we have lost the land, the white farmers, we have to first go back to the drawing board and say, you know what did we do with the black people who lost the land? You know, the current government is in a mess because they took the land, the commercial farms, and they didn't do justice. They didn't distribute the land properly. So, okay, they own that land now, right? It's their responsibility to make sure there is food on the table for all Zimbabweans. They have taken those commercial farms. It's their responsibility to make sure we have enough even to sell. But because they have them, it's not like what they have is useless. No, they have land. And you know, whoever's got land has the potential to feed the people. So they have to make those farms. Besides this, they openly spoke about that, you know, they got the money from the government, from the bank, and they to do the mechanization. So it's not like they don't have the resources, they have the resources. So it's their duty to make sure that these commercial farms they have are going to feed the nation of Zimbabwe. If they cannot do that, then they might as well get out of those farms because those farms are not private property. Those farms are for the country of Zimbabwe. Those farms should be used to feed all the children of Zimbabwe. That is our heritage as a nation, not an individual person's property. And if ZPP would come into the government today, we are going to undo that. And when we undo that, that land will be farmed by the state to make sure that, you know what, because if we look at what is going on, we have seen that the government took over the land and what have they done with it? The country is starving. The country, of course, the sanctions are another block as well, you know, but the bottom line is our children, the people of Zimbabwe are starving today because those who took those farms are not doing justice to what they took them for, right?
Okay,
and besides,
so you are saying that you will cancel this land compensation agreement.
Yes.
And in fact, you are saying it should be cancelled now.
Yes.
By the current government, which is existing.
Yes. They have signed, they have to undo it.
Yes. Don't you think, though, that this brings to finality the issue of the land acquisition? If these people are paid, is this not going to bring this issue to rest?
Not really. Listen to this. According to this agreement they have signed, it has left a loophole to say this government now, as it is, it's paying for the compensation of the developments and the properties that was lost, right? But it's not stopping them from coming back again and fight for the land that was taken away from them.
Okay.
So this is just one part of it. They might go away for real, but they might still come back and say, you know what, by the way, you paid compensation for this, but we still want our land back. Because we by paying them, we are agreeing that this land is theirs. So like I said, the example of the car, I've taken your car, now I'm coming to say, you know what, you might have sold it to me, but it's still my car. I want it back.
What do you think is driving Mnangagwa to make such a deal?
One, the British are sitting on their neck. Two, the Americans are sitting on their neck. And three, anybody who cares, who think they know what's happening in Zimbabwe and they've got a share to say, they allow themselves to talk and putting pressure on the government. Like I said, this is not an excuse that the government of Zimbabwe is mismanaging the country as it is. They are messing up big time, and we know that. That there are corruption cases in the country. Yes, we know that they are corrupt. We know it's not like me trying to whoosh things here. We have cases that are all over the newspapers to say this one has been stealing this, it's all, and they've been court cases on that. So it's not up for discussion that there is corruption in the country. Yes, we know that. But what we are talking about here, look at it. Why do we have America in this whole thing? There's a document that I was reading that shows that even when they were talking Lancaster Conference Day, America was had its fingers in it. And if we look on America, like, you know, the big companies, look at it up to date. There's a document that I have actually, I don't know where it is in one of my folders, that shows how many, who actually owns the economical sector of Zimbabwe. You know, you'll find that on that list, many of the big US companies are based in Zimbabwe. They've got their fingers in Zimbabwe. In something as easy as, you know, like small, what you would think like, these are our backbone companies in Zimbabwe. Some of them are owned by, or they've got America people with shares in them. So now their interest in all this is like by the way that we are saying the land is ours, we are actually kicking them as well. Because one, I know for sure that there's some American companies lost land when the land was taken away because their farms and they lost some as well. So because of that, they have to open up their mouths. And how does America do that? It brings sanctions, right? And you put sanctions in a country, you are crippling the country. Say it whichever way you want. I'll give you this. I had not said it in many places. 2016, I went to Iran on a business trip. And you know what? I happened to talk to people, business people. I had a meeting there with a couple of business people, you know, and some of them told me that they had pulled out business out of Zimbabwe. And you know why? Because the companies they were delivering to were no longer able to pay. They're no longer able to pay them, you know. And you know, why are they not able to pay? Because of the sanctions. And you know how this thing was going on. These companies, not all of them, some of these companies in Iran, you know, Iran is under sanctions, but Iran is trading. How? Iran takes its products, they get like sold via Dubai, and that way they're doing their business. So what are we talking about if we say, hey, Zimbabwe sanctions don't affect us? It does affect us big time. The fact that we don't come here and speak about it, it doesn't mean it's not happening. So it's up to us as, I'm talking when I'm saying us now, individual Zimbabweans, you and me, to say, let's dig deeper into this and say, what do we know? Because there is one thing, what America is saying and what the puppets of America, these Zimbabweans who are playing, oh, you know what, they get $20 there and they go shining, no sanctions. No, these sanctions are real and they affect us. It's high time, like I said, Zimbabwe People's Party, we are not here to justify that the government is doing right. Of course, they call us puppets of ZANU-PF. I don't care about that. They've called us ZANU-PF puppets from the day we started. But it's high time we, as Zimbabweans, normal Zimbabweans, you know, like just normal people, have a look and say, what is going on in our country? If Zimbabwe is this useless, why is America, big as it is, keeping their claws on Zimbabwe? Why is Britain, that said, you know what, you are an independent country, go away? Why are they still having their claws on it? If we are so bad, you know, why do we still have, like, I always use this example. By keeping their embassy in Zimbabwe, the Americans or the British, this means they are still in business with Zimbabwe. You don't do business with people that are bad. What are they still doing in our country if it's that bad? So what message are they sharing here? And it needs us, as, like I said, back to the Zimbabweans, the government, they're doing whatever they're doing. Let's leave them alone. But it's us now, you and me, to say, let's open our eyes and look closely. You know, even if you look at around the world, when Britain is messing up, you find 1-2 people here messing about, but you don't find so many Zimbabweans like us, like we are doing now, that we are the ones who are going out there publishing how bad Zimbabwe is. I was showing somebody recently to say, look at this. We Zimbabweans, we gladly go and say, like, look, I am so dirty, I didn't do this. But everybody else is saying, you know what, all our mess, we clear it at home. Let's sort each other out. But when we stand out there, we are a united nation. That way, we stop all these people from coming and taking away what is ours. We are divided as a nation. As long as we are divided, as long as we are fighting against each other, things will be happening. One last one on that one. Look at this, let's remember this. When we were busy saying, hey, demonstrations, 31, we go out there and fight against each other. The same time, that's exactly the same time when this agreement was signed. We Zimbabweans, where were we? Where were we focusing? We were all busy, hey, you know what, trukwenda muhondo, trukwenda kunomira road. Okay, people were on the street, people didn't go on the street. Now we open our eyes. The government has signed off a deal. 3.5 billion or 3.2 billion is going to pay the white farmers. Okay, we went about this demonstration thing. So what did it improve on our lives? We focused on the wrong things. That's what I'm talking about here. That it's up to us now as a collective Zimbabweans to open our eyes and say, you know what, we just don't go with the wind. While we were saying we want, they are stealing, they are corrupt, we know they are corrupt. We are the same people who are voting them in. We are the same people who are following them in. We are the same people who are saying, ZPP, you have come, you want us to become a new government, you want to become a new government. What are you going to pay us? How much are you going to pay me to be the leader of my constituents? How much are you going to pay me to be your MP? I'm not saying, hey, you are not my MP, you're going to work in your constituency. But now the bottom line is, because we are all focusing on the wrong places and because we are expecting somebody to come and fight our battle and because we are expecting somebody to come and feed us, that's where we have somebody come and give us $20, you know, go and tell them. And then somebody comes and talk nonsense. And you know what? I use the example, send a monkey to catch a monkey. All those Zimbabweans, listen to me. All of you Zimbabweans who are running the agenda of Americans, British, or whatever, whoever is sending, even the Chinese, you are all puppets. Because at the end of the day, you get $20, you get $30, you get $1,000. But what are you doing to your nation? What are you doing? I'm talking to every one of us as Zimbabweans who is selling our nation for peanuts. That you know what, that is treason. If I was the president today, I would lock you up, all of you. That's me talking. If I was the president, I would lock you up, all of you. Because at the end of the day, you know what? We run, you know, here, UK, come and see. European Union, come and see. Which of the European countries ever calls Africans when they are doing elections? And they are as corrupt as anything else. You know, which of these European or these superpowers we want to call them, and with the ones that we run to, which one of them calls us to say, you know what, you Africans, come here. You know, we are fighting. This is our battle. European Union now has been doing this pre-exit thing. Whoever called the Africans and say, come and be the referees? No one. So why are we running back? We said we are now an independent country. Why are we running back to them and say, you know, come and help us? Yes, I live in the UK, I know. So you might say, yeah, she's living in the UK. Yes, I am here. But doesn't mean that my eyes are closed. I know what I know and I know what I'm seeing. So what we are saying is, we as Zimbabweans, we have to stand up. And this journey starts with each and every one of us saying, you know what? Gambako, you are doing your portion to say, you know, I have the media. People listen to this. And I am here. I've said, you know what? I've started my journey. right? And I'm one of the people who have started the Zimbabwe People's Party. So each and every one of us has got a duty to our country, right? We have people in South Africa today who are starving, who've got no papers, who are being abused by their own Zimbabwean people, by the nation as it all. We know people living in fear of, maybe tomorrow they wake up and say, go back home, what will I do? What are we doing as a nation? It's time to get angry for the correct position. I saw the other day a video where Zimbabweans were crossing to go to, not Bite Bridge, the other side, what's this name now?
Messina.
Messina. I saw that go saying, you know what, I have to walk from 7 o'clock in the morning to go across to go and get medication. What are we talking about? Maybe this go, if you look at her age, she might have been a chimbido. She might have gone to war. She might have lost children during the war. But is that what she fought for? If she didn't go to war, but she cooked for them, my comrades, was that not service that she rendered? So what are we talking about? And then we have these young guys, the wannabe 40s, yes, I mean that generation as well, who are running around the world saying, you know what, saying, you know what, let's fix the nation. Who are we fixing? The Mnangagwas and the whole of them, they drive their BMWs, they drive their discoveries. Mind you, there are sanctions in the country. How are they getting those cars? They are driving those cars that are supposed to be from those countries where these sanctions are coming from. They are driving those cars in Zimbabwe today. So what are we talking about when we say, oh, sanctions are real, but they are real for the poor people on the ground. So it's up to us, we on the ground, who we are feeling the pain, to say, you know what, enough of this nonsense. I don't mind those who believe ZANU is the party. Go and talk to ZANU, your leaders, and tell them to change Maitiro. Those who believe in MDC and believe MDC is the political party, go and talk to your leaders. Call them, bring them to justice, bring them. You know, what's this thing to say, you know, Zani Rukuba, MDC Rukuba. You know, I always say to those who care to listen, the difference between the two parties, one is sitting akagara mudura, right? ZANU iri mudura ndosaka vari kuba zvihombe. MDC iri panze iri kunokora mudura nepa window. Saka vari kutora zvinotakurika neruoko. And saka vakawana mukana vachaita sei. So at the end of the day, those who support ZANU, those who support MDC, go to your leaders and call them, bring them to justice, and say, you know what, we want transparency, we want accountability, we want a change, because when munhu weZANU hauna magetsi, ugara masuwe chakaputika, munhu weMDC, it's the same story. So and then at the end of the day, you are sitting on the sewage. If your children are sick, they will die. If your relatives are sick, even yourself, you will die because of unamshonga. And these other ones can fly themselves out of the country. And then you are rushingirira. What are you doing? It's our right to get angry.
Right. I see. I get the point. And I think everyone who was listening to you, some of them are already angry because you have articulated the issues. So I think let's summarize and close out.
Okay.
Firstly, you said that global land compensation agreement was unfair and should be cancelled.
Mm-hmm.
You said the first people who were on the land should have been compensated and not the people who came after to dispossess them.
Spell it out, spell it well. There's Zimbabweans, yes. Indigenous Zimbabweans.
Yes, indigenous Zimbabweans should have been compensated before the white commercial farmers.
Yes.
Then you said in terms of the payment, the government of Zimbabwe is probably going to pay for this land, because how could they not pay, and how could the Europeans or the British pay? Why was the Zimbabweans needed? So the terms are not clear, but the Zimbabwe government is still going to pay for this land. And you said if it was ZPP in power, you were going to totally cancel this agreement, but you want it cancelled now, if possible.
Yes.
Right, is there anything else I missed out?
No, you didn't miss out. You spelled it correctly. To say, you know what, yes, they will say what they are saying, but still, it's the children of Zimbabwe first.
Okay.
That's where we have to start.
Right. I think we've slightly gone above the time I thought we were going to take. So we have to quickly bring this to an end.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to say before I finally close this?
Okay, a short one. Once again, people of Zimbabwe, children of Zimbabwe, it's our duty to take responsibility for our country. The journey starts with each and every one of us saying, you know what, I can do this. This is what I can. Of course, not everybody would want to belong to a political party, but you know what, do what you can in your capacity, in your comfort zone. But whatever you are doing, make sure it's for the good of our country. And this thing of running to the West is not going to help us. Our country, our nation, our problems, our solutions, that makes us Zimbabwe. And we are supposed to be united. We must be united if we are going to manage this.
Okay. Vimbai Chiwuswa, Director of Policy and Research at the Zimbabwe People's Party.
No. Education and policy development in Zimbabwe People's Party.
Education and policy development.
Policy development, yeah.
Okay, I think I got that right. And I'm going to put your number on the screen so that people who want to contact you can talk to you. Okay. However, I feel that issues like issues of land, they are very complicated for some people to understand.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful that you've educated people about where the land issue came from.
Thank you.
Right. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much once again.
Right. Thank you very much for joining me this week. Yeah. And we're going to be having more of your other directors to come and talk on Gambakwe Media. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.